Hello everyone, welcome to another Howloo Season review. Today I am reviewing Pathfinder Dice Conquest. This is a game published by WizKids. It plays up to, solo up to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and suggested 30 minutes of playtime here. This may look familiar. I did review a little while ago. WizKids came out with Dice Conquest. And so this is the Pathfinder version theming. And so I'm going to show you again some of the differences. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities between the games as well. You may be having questions as to, hey, could I, mix and match? Could I play these with one another? Different things like that. So we're going to try to cover all of your questions. If by chance at the end of this video or during this video I do not answer your questions, or you have additional questions or would like to see maybe a full playthrough of one or both of these, please put those in the comments below. Happy to address those comments, your questions, and if you'd like to see a playthrough, let me know, and if we get enough comments and likes on the video, be happy to do a full playthrough video as well. So I will also put a link in the description of this video for my review of the original Dice Conquest, but let's go ahead and focus on the Pathfinder. Very first, you'll see the beautiful dice in the window here. There is plastic here, so everything's well contained, but you still get to see the beautiful dice in there, which I think is awesome. The artwork and everything is great. Quality of the components is good. And again, you'll see a lot of similarities that I can do at the very end of the video. I'll walk through this one, but then I'll show you some comparisons between the Pathfinder and the original Dice Conquest. So when you open it up, everything has a place. So great little plastic insert here. You will see once you've taken the cards out, they do have a note in here. The rule book is under the plastic insert. Again, you don't have to maintain it that way. I do, because that way you keep this portion free so that you can see it through the lid. But we've got some cards here. We'll show you the different things there. There is a few cardboard tokens. There's a first player token here. That's the first player token, and some heart cardboard tokens. They're shiny, good quality cardboard tokens. The hearts are for keeping track of your health. Again, this is 1 to 4 players. Based on the number of players, you're going to have a certain starting max health throughout the game. If you're playing solo, you're going to start at 20. I love on the cards that they have the different player counts here. So again, first with 1 player, you got 20, 2 players, 10, 3 players, you have 6, and with 4 players, you can only have 4 health there. And that's, scales because each of the players have turns and the different rounds, and the health is really spread out, and I can kind of talk about how that works. But it does, you could actually make it a little bit easier on these other player counts. Even solo, if you wanted to make the game easier, it's not included in here. But you could start with like 21 health, and then you go down to 20. A little bit of a house rule thing if you want to maybe scale the difficulty a little bit. But yeah, great components. The dice, we'll go ahead and look at the dice. I guess we'll pull this out. The insert, you got the rule book here. We'll talk about that here in a second. But let's look at these dice first. So the dice, they all fit in the different areas there. Works great. We'll set that insert aside. I really love the look of these dice. They're great quality, regular set of adventure dice here, playing Pathfinder or D&D. You got your 2 10-sided dice here with kind of the Again, how they're utilized a little bit different. We'll talk about that. But we have the 2d10s. We have a d4 here. We have a d6. We have d8, a d12, and a d20. But I literally love the color here. The purple and gold, I think, are really, really cool. You just compare that to the original Dice Conquest, which is like this blue and red. My son likes these dice. I like these dice better. So just great looking dice, good quality dice. Very important in a dice game, right? Card quality is good. So you have the little trackers. They're just cards for your life. There are turn reference cards here that there's 4, 1 for each player. Imagine that, so that's good. You have the heroes. We'll give you a closer look at that, and you'll be able to pause. This game has some spells, and then of course the creatures, and this one includes 3 different bosses. So I think that's a great improvement, a nice thing, keep things variable. In Dice Conquest, you only have the one boss, so it provides some more variability here. And yeah, as far as the card quality goes, they're good. It's not like they have like a deluxe linen finish, but they're a good quality card. So they're going to hold up well. They shuffle well. Very pleased with that. The artwork, as you can see, is very nice for all the different cards in here. Very, very well done, organized. Very similar card setup to the original design there as well. So let's talk about the actual gameplay and take a little bit closer look at the creatures and the heroes in Pathfinder Dice Conquest. Obviously, I think one of my first kind of inclinations or wonderings about the game would definitely, what heroes am I going to find in this game? So let's take a little bit of a closer look at that. We have the Alchemist. Very cool. So there's most of the heroes, they have an innate kind of ongoing ability that's available to them. And then on the bottom of the card is what is called a critical hit. Basically, if they utilize a die with that number, they can have another special ability that triggers. So pretty cool. So we have the Alchemist here. When you re-roll dice, you may continue re-rolling if the number is odd. So that's pretty awesome. Multiple die rolls. Whenever you utilize a die from the pool, if it has a great high number, like a 19, you can actually just grab that die, utilize it as is. So let's say you had this D20 and there was a 1. Well, in the game, usually, unless there's some creatures or something, a spell or something making it so that you can't, you can either take the die and place it, or you can take the die and roll it in hopes of a better roll, and then you would need to place it. With the Alchemist, right? I mean, wouldn't be able to do it with the 10, but let's say I had a 1 and I rolled a 3. Well, I would actually get to roll again, and then I got a 16. So very cool kind of innate ability that the Alchemist has. Also very helpful is his critical hit here. Change this die to any number and increase up to 2 other dice in the available dice area plus 1. So this is very, very helpful in the fact that even if I had, let's say this is my available dice pool here, if I choose the 4, because that is my critical hit, the 4, I can actually change this to a 20, which is awesome. Or if I need like a 19, some of the creatures say, hey, it needs to be an odd number. I could choose 19 and place that on there. And then I could choose 2 other dice and increase it, which could work with these other ones. So if I had, even like this one, and we were playing with like the Barbarian, I could choose 2 other dice to increase by 1, My Barbarian has a critical hit of 2. I could change this 1 to a 2 so that the Barbarian could utilize their critical hit as well. So very versatile and very helpful, the Alchemist. I like that one. The Barbarian, this one, you may take 1 damage to re-roll a die. Nice, if you're dealing with a re-roll and you get a 1, you could take a damage to roll again, increase that to a 10. It's very helpful, but can be very tricky, especially with the higher player counts, because you start and have a max health that's so low. It's only like 4 health, right? It's a little trickier. With the solo, you may be able to play a little bit better, I think, with the Barbarian because of the critical hit ability here. You can change it to any number and heal yourself 1 damage. So that's pretty nice, but can be a little bit tricky to play, especially at the kind of higher player counts to be useful. But pretty cool. Taking damage, diving into things, right? So we got that. We have the Swashbuckler. Very cool art on this one. Very fancy pirate. In this one, when you slay a creature, you may re-roll any available dice. So again, re-rolls are huge, right? Especially if you have some really low numbers. You can re-roll any available dice once you take out a creature. Once you, as the Swashbuckler, take out a creature. That's huge, right? I can take the 2, I can take this, I can take this 3 here. I can even take could keep, maybe we want the 6s, maybe we don't. But I could re-roll those. See if we get anything better. Of course, probably lower in my situation. Critical hit for the Swashbuckler, 6. Change this die to any number and swap a die in the available dice area for a spent die. That one's very cool because, again, I have this 6. I can utilize that. I can turn that back up to an 8 if I want. And then let's say I had previously used my 20-sided die is in the spent pool area. I could go ahead and swap the D4 for the D20, re-rolling that and putting that into the available dice pool. So very helpful, very cool. What else do we have? We have 3 more. We have the Monk. So you can place 2 dice with the same number on a creature as 1 attack. And that's important because some of the creatures, again, as you attack, they basically will deal a damage to you. So you can do more damage with 1 placement. So that's very helpful. If they're the same number. And then return a spent die to the available area. So you don't even have to swap. You actually just return one of the spent dice to the die area and get to go again, basically. So having, the same number. And again, that's where I think like the Alchemist is very, very helpful because, the Swashbuckler allows you to re-roll dice. The Alchemist, you can be a little bit more specific with it and say, I want to increase this die and this die so that we could have duplicates, right? To be able to spend that. So that's where I really think the Alchemist is one of my favorite characters and probably what I view as the most helpful, especially when playing multiplayer, being able to influence the other die. And even, honestly, it helps in a lot of situations. But the Monk has a crit hit of 7. So if they use a die with a 7 on it, they can change that die. Or again, if there's 2 7s and they're placing both of those, they can change both of those dice to any numbers. So if they're placing 2 7s, then they'd be able to increase both of those. Pretty cool. Magus here. So at the start of your turn, you may increase 1 die on a creature up by the attack number of another creature. And we'll show you the creatures have different attack values in the upright corner. They generally range from 1 to 3 for the attacks. And so you may be able to increase a die that's already on a creature by up to whatever those attacks are available. So that one's pretty nice, honestly. If you have a die sitting there with the 12 and there's a creature with an attack of 2 or 3, I can increase this to a 14 or 15. And that's just inherent at the start of your turn. You're able to increase the die by that. So that's pretty nice. Plus you get it, that ignores any restrictions or different things from the creatures. Critical hit here for Magus with a 5. Discard this die to slay creature of 10 or less remaining health. Very useful. Like that one a lot. I do like, so it's interesting, like those are very powerful. The Barbarian again, very helpful sometimes with the crit hit being low, because you can, with pretty much all of them, you can change, a lot of them are change the die to any number. And so with the lower numbers, the Alchemist and the Barbarian, it's kind of interesting, right? Because with that, you can you're increasing the number quite a bit usually in those cases. Sometimes, 5, it's decent damage considering some of the other dice, but increases it even more. The Witch. The Witch is another one that I really like. So at the start of your turn, you may re-roll a placed die that's on a creature and replace it on the same creature, ignoring any of the restrictions and things like that. You may use your critical hit if rolled. So that's nice. Again, sometimes you may be able, like there's a creature out there that makes it so you can't re-roll dice. So it's like, oh man, he got all these low numbers on the creatures. Well, with the Witch, at the start of your turn, you may re-roll a placed die, hoping to get something better and put it there. And maybe only odd numbers could be on there, but now you can get that to a 4 or 6, different things like that. The ability here with an 8, you change it to any number. If you slay a creature by placing that die, you heal a hero 1 damage. So I do like the healing elements. So the Barbarian and the Witch have that. Again, very cool. Got all of those. Again, if I were to rank them, I really like the Alchemist. The Barbarian is nice, but I think I like Magus and the Witch, honestly. I think the Swashbuckler is nice, but yeah, those are all the heroes in Pathfinder Dice Conquest, with, in my opinion, the Alchemist being the top one there. Talk about spells here in a second. You can play the game without these, and it's suggested that you do so originally before you start diving those in. Gameplay is very simple setup. You're going to shuffle these creature cards, shuffle them up. You're going to shuffle the 3 different bosses here randomly. Choose one, put it on the bottom of the deck there. You're going to choose your hero. Choose the Alchemist here. If I was doing a solo game, get a little reference card. You get your little health marker. Obviously, first player marker, not really needed in a solo game, but I would start at 20 health. Set the other heroes and things aside. You could play, a solo game managing multiple heroes if you want to try that too. So that would work. Your hero's health would just, if you're playing 2 different heroes, you could have each of them with 10 health. So that's a nice kind of another feature variability of solo games. You can check out all these heroes or any combination. I think managing 2 is still works well and kind of gives more variability in the solo game, but test it out. I think if you go more than that, it's just more upkeep. Again, not a huge deal. You can manage it, try it out as you will. Again, with the spells, they get mixed into the game, into the creature deck before, you place the boss on the bottom. And you can place in certain number of these. This is one distinction and difference between Dice Conquest and Pathfinder that I really like. So in the original Dice Conquest, they included what they call trap cards that you could shuffle into the deck to make the game harder. The game is quite challenging, I think, as it is. But so what I like is that provides some variability. You can make it more difficult to have these trap cards in there. These are spell cards, which similar idea to the trap cards, but it's provides some more variability and randomness. When they come up, they can have the potential to do something good or hurt you. And so again, with the Dice Conquest cards, the trap cards, they're always going to hurt you, something bad. With these, you have the potential, in this case, like the heal spell, when it gets drawn, you're going to draw another creature card, but you roll a d4 from wherever that is. You can place it back to where it is, but you heal a damage equal to the number rolled. You can split it amongst the heroes as you wish, and then you discard that. If you roll a 4, however, that's a failure, and you have to take 2 damage. We have Shrink. So you're going to roll a d20. If it's 11 or more, you get to place this on a non-boss creature to half its health, rounded up, and discards at the end of the round. Failure, after rolling the dice at the start of the round, half the value of the 2 highest dice, rounded up. So, but I really like that there's a potential for help from these spells. And they're very cool. They're very thematic, very fun little spells that I think are a really fun addition to this Pathfinder set. And again, I like the idea of could be good, could be bad, rather than just the trap cards myself from the original. So I think that's something I really like about this Pathfinder set. All right, I'm going to play just a little bit, a few rounds to show you if you are unfamiliar. Very simple setup. When you're gonna reveal with the rounds creatures. You're gonna reveal 3 creatures. Some of the creatures may have on reveal abilities that come up. If those were to come up, you would take care of those. I'm not going to play a little game here, so I'll just see if I can quickly find. So here you go. We have a goblin dog. There's a few of those. I'm trying to remember if there's 2 or 3. There's another one. Anyway, so with this one, when you reveal it, there's a reveal ability. And at the beginning of each round, remove and deal any goblin dogs in the discard pile. So basically, if you have any of those in the discard pile and there's one out, they're going to keep coming back. They're going to be calling their friends, causing more trouble. Otherwise, if there's no on-reveal abilities, you're good there. We're going to go ahead and roll the dice here. Yay! You can take out that insert. Makes a great little thing here to keep your dice from going everywhere. And you can have your dice, your available dice here, and the spent, you can have it out on the other side or something like that. So basic round here is you're going to play until you have spent all of the dice from your available dice pool, or you've passed, basically, or you've defeated all the creatures in the creature row. So whenever looking at these creatures here, again, you have different stats on the creature cards. So we have the Minotaur. He's got 15 health, does 2 attack damage. And then there's maybe some ability or something here that is going to change how maybe the round works while the creature's out there, or how we manage and deal with the creature itself. A lot of the creatures, not all the creatures, have some sort of maybe reward, magical item that is on the bottom of the card, that when the creature is defeated, you collect that. You can put it kind of, under your character card like so, and be able to utilize that as it describes. So you have this marvelous miniature. Discard to return the D12 to the available dice area. If it's already been used, it's in the spent area, we can get it back. So pretty cool. So as far as decision making and deciding what to do, we're looking at, health, what we can take out, as well as, the amount of damage that we're going to get. Obviously, you can see the Sandpoint Devil here is 30 health. Just a lot of health, a lot of damage. Do get a reward, but there's no special text here. The Minotaur here, you can see takes you have to take 1 damage when placing a die on this creature. So we want to try to take it out with as few dice as possible, right? So we're not taking damage again and again. Medusa here has a little bit more text here on the card. All matching dice in the available dice area may not be re-rolled or altered until this creature is slain or the beginning of the next round. So this creature does not affect the Hydra, which is another creature in here that re-rolls dice. So matching dice. We look in here. Do we have any matching dice? Technically, we do. So these D10s are a little bit interesting. With the Dice Conquest, I felt like the rule book didn't do a great job explaining that. It was a little bit confusing. I am happy to say that they cleared that up really well in this new one. Again, very simple little thing in here, but just a distinction on the dice, this special note, they cleared that up in this new rule book. So basically these D10s, whenever it is showing the 0 side, those count as 10s. And if it would show the 1 or the 10 on this, those would count as 1. So we have some matching dice here. So we can't re-roll those or alter them, but honestly, they're both 10s, right? So we're good there. There's no other matches. So on your turn, you're going to place the dice, all the dice that we can, trying to take out as many creatures as we can, looking at our ability here as well. All right, so I do have a 4 already, so I am going to be able to trigger this. I could increase the value on some dice. I wouldn't be able to modify the 2 10s that I have. Oh, so my 6 here, though, isn't great. I think we'll just kind of bring out that 6 and see what we do here. With the Alchemist, again, the ability here is very nice. When I re-roll, if it's odd, I can continue to re-roll it. So I'm going to see if we can get 15 or higher and take that out in 1 hit. That's my hope. Got an 8. Well, it's not odd, unfortunately. And it is not 15 or more, that's for sure. I could take it out with a 10 and the 8, or we can do the 10 and the 8 here. So at this point, I do have to place it somewhere. I think we're going to place it on Medusa, actually. All right. Don't have to take damage here. And then I think we'll take one of these 10s, and that adds up to 18. So the creature is defeated. That goes because it has this. This is a healing potion, which will be nice. Haven't taken any damage yet, but I will for sure be taking some damage. So That will be nice. I'm going to slide this up a little bit so you can see that. All right, so we got the spent dice up here. We've taken out Medusa. Now let's see if we can take out another creature. The Sandpoint Devil is going to do 3 damage to us, which is not great, but I mean, this 8 is already maxed out. I'm not going to be able to take out that Minotaur in one hit anymore. But let's see if we can roll this D12 and get a higher than a 3. So we'll re-roll this. A 12. Hey, look at that. Perfect. So we're going to attack the Minotaur for 12. Have to take a damage because it's placed a die there. All right. And there are creatures that make you take damage for how many magical items you have. So I'm actually just going to spend this, discard it, and heal myself one before I forget. Okay, so it's my turn again here. So we got another 10 here. It's a little overkill for that, but I could use my 4 and increase that too. I mean, maybe we try. Yeah, my ability here is not huge. Let's see what I roll with the 1 though. A 2, that's great. Couldn't get a 3 or something better. Well, I don't really want to place it on the Minotaur for now. And we'll show you how the end round works and kind of wrap up, and the new thing will end the video there. I'm going to place the 2, mainly because I just don't want to take another damage, taking out that Minotaur. So I'm going to take this 4 now. I would be able to use my crit hit here, change the die to any face, and increase up to 2 others. But these are already maxed out. And so is this. So, but I'm going to place this here. That's going to take it to 16. You need to take a damage, but that will defeat the Minotaur. Putting those dice in the spent area. And we've taken out the Minotaur. We have a new item. We can discard this to return the D12 to the dice pool, which we might as well do. Let's try it. We're just going to discard it and use it now. Whenever you return the die, you're just going to roll it from the spent. You're going to roll it again. Place it anew in here. We got the crit hit on the 4. So we didn't roll the 12, but it's basically a 12 to us. So I can take that, change it to a 12 because it matches my hero's thing there. We can put a 12 on it. That's great. The others, we got an 8. So that takes us to 22. And another 10 actually takes it out. So we were able to clear the board this round. That's really good. Anytime you can do that, it's very, very good. If we weren't able to clear it, so just as an example, I did defeat the Sandpoint Devil, so I'm going to be able to get that magical item. But let's say it was the end of the round, and it was like this. It only had a die. You can choose to keep it there, or pull it back and re-roll it and make it in the available dice pool again. So again, didn't really lose anything placing it there. I was able to defeat it, and we would gain that item. If I was not able to, let's say I wasn't there, you're going to draw at the end of the round. It goes through here very nicely on your round reference. You're going to take damage from any remaining creature, starting with the first player moving clockwise. So the way damage works is I'm going to just take damage. I'm going to take 3 damage. You're going to add up any damage from all of the creatures. We have to take 3 damage spread out across all of the heroes, starting with the first player. So solo, obviously, I'm going to be taking all 3 points of damage. If there was another hero, and we were, you know, here near the beginning of the game, we already took 1 damage. It's going to start with the first player. They're going to take a damage. Then it would go to the second player, third player if there was, or back to the first player, and they would take another damage. So it is spread evenly between all the heroes. Yeah, and so that's damage. Pretty straightforward. After that, you get to choose to remove or keep placed dice. So at this point, I have to decide, okay, do we want to keep the 2 there, or do I want to pull it back, re-roll it for those? Pass the first player token to the other players if you're playing multiplayer. Then you're going to deal 3 new creatures. So not up to 3. So if you have any remaining creatures, again, that is going to be harder and harder, right? Reveal ability, we don't have any other goblin dogs in the discard at this point. But just give you an idea of some other creatures here. This is Zolgath Skulker. So he's got 12 health, 2 damage, even. Sometimes I have little trigger type words here. Only even dice can be placed on this creature, so no odd dice. Get the Staff of Arcane Might if you defeat him. Be able to discard to reroll any available dice. So very nice. There's some here in this deck that play on certain goblin icons. Things like that. We also have this guy, 22 health, 3 damage. Pretty beefy. Take 1 damage when placing a die. And then at that point, you move all your spent dice to the available area with a new dice roll and go from there. You're going to continue playing until you basically defeat all the creatures in the deck. Because you need to defeat the boss. And you can see here, this is Gokrag the Cruel, Hobgoblin Warlord General. On reveal, you're going to remove and deal any creatures in the discard pile with the goblin. So all of those creatures that you defeated come back, which is really annoying. Again, there's some goblin dogs. There's some other cards in here. Kind of show you a quick look. But again, you can only attack him after all the other creatures are defeated. So you're going to have to deal with all those other creatures. Meanwhile, he's got that damage. A lot of the bosses also have this. You cannot use any critical hits when attacking this creature. So you can't utilize your critical hit, change the D20 that's a 4 to a 20. Can't do that while defeating the boss here. So there's, again, lots of different things in here. The Hydra's pretty unique, so we'll show you that one as well. This one, you take 1 damage when placing a die. You can't place dies that are 11 or more. It has to be 1 through 10. Each time you do place a die on this creature, immediately re-roll all available dice. And if you rolled that a dice matches a die on this creature, you have to discard the matching die from this creature. And this creature is not slain until after this re-roll. So you have to do that re-roll. Possibility of that removing dice. Very annoying. The other cards here, no critical hits may be used until this creature is slain. With Norn here, very annoying. Any creatures that lock my ability to utilize rerolls or modified dice are my least favorite. They are very annoying when those come up. Here's another Goblin Pyro. This one's kind of interesting because he has a Goblin Skull Bomb, which you can do to damage. But when you slay this creature, you have to roll all dice placed. And if you roll a 5 or more on any dice, you have to take 2 damage, and you actually just discard it. You don't get it. It's like the bomb went off in your hand. This one does extra damage with goblin creatures. There's another dog. There's a couple of those. Red cap. There's a soldier that's a goblin as well. You have to kill this with exact amount. All other creatures deal +1 damage at the end of this round until this is slain. So it gives you an idea of the creature cards in this set as well. Again, that being said, if you have any questions, please let me know in the video. But I wanted to give you a nice thorough look at this new set. Here's the other monsters. You may be wondering, hey, could I play this with the original Dice Conquest? Yes, you can. I mean, I don't know that it's set up necessarily like purposefully, but you can do it. There are some other kind of unique elements here. So when you look at these different creatures and different things like that, you could basically mix and match the bosses. You could pull the heroes from this original set here. You can pull those and take this hero against these creatures. You wouldn't necessarily, again, there's something about like the timing and the amount of creatures. You could play around with swapping some of them out. Again, some of the creatures are very dependent on the deck. So like this one here is going to be, you wouldn't want to necessarily play this boss with the old or the original Dice Conquest, right? Because it doesn't have the creatures and it wouldn't really make sense. But the other two you could. And so yeah, you could take the heroes from this Pathfinder set, go up against the monsters from the original set. So there's some variability and cross-play that you can do between the sets as well, which is nice. Again, very similar setup. You got your first player token, heart tokens in there for the other set. So yeah, you could definitely get some more variability from the different gameplay. Play with heroes from the different sets. Works out great. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, put that in the comments below. If you want to see a playthrough of Dice Conquest, either the original or Pathfinder, let me know. Vote in the comments and we'll see if we can do a solo playthrough of Dice Conquest for you. But fun little game, and that is how Lou sees it.